Good evening, and welcome to the Town Board meeting for the Town of Ossining for July 14th, 2015. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Jeffrey?
Present.
Councilmember Harder?
Present.
Councilmember Wilshire?
Present.
Councilmember Blaha?
Present.
And Supervisor Donnelly.
Present.
This evening we have a public hearing in the matter of revisions to the 2002 Town of Ossining Comprehensive Plan.
Council?
Yes, hopefully, as many people in the community have realized and seen, the town has been in the process for several months now of
Over a year.
over a year. Okay, time flies when you're having fun,
I know.
as we know.
Those Wednesday nights.
Of reviewing in open meetings the comprehensive plan, which is which was originally adopted
2002.
2002. So the plan is quite at this point, I guess, not stale, but I would say long in the tooth, so to speak. It's been in effect for many years, and the reviews that took place were basically to determine how, what ways plan needed to be updated.
Only in the vision portion.
Well, right, exactly.
Right.
It was determined that the certain sections of the plan, which involved more generalities in terms of visions for the community, needed to be looked at. It's important to note that the plan itself is more of an outline for the town. It's not specific. These are not. The plan itself is not a law body or a body of law. What it does is it provides a sort of a basis for the adoption of laws, which is a separate process entirely. And the Ossining Zoning Code, which should in some way incorporate the visions and the concepts that are found within the plan itself, are also currently under review, and there are various laws that are being considered local laws to adopt and to implement many of the visions that have been updated in the revised comprehensive plan. There are various sections that are incorporated or were reviewed in connection with the updating of the vision portion of the comprehensive plan. Sections such as community appearance, environmental resources, visions regarding residential development, parks and recreation, community services and facilities, transportation, and future development and redevelopment. Much of what was done in connection with the revisions to the plan were essentially cleaning it up and modernizing it. There were very few wholesale changes made, and certainly nothing that would change, in essence, the character of the community as it is today. So the changes were cosmetic, were I'd say housekeeping in many ways, and modernization. And during the course of the review process, the language in the plan needed to be updated to a large extent. The visions relating to environmental concerns needed to be updated and strengthened in a sense as well. Other provisions relating to future development and, of course, community appearance, as we stated before, these needed to be looked at and updated, and through the course of many meetings, which are open to the public, and with the guidance of the town planner and representatives from the planning board, I think that the revisions are appropriate. I know that they've been out there in the public domain for quite some time, and this process of adopting the new plan, the comprehensive plan, is something that the town should undertake, or the revisions, I should say, should undertake on a regular basis. It's a living and breathing document, and it should reflect changes in the community, changes in the economy, changes in the emphasis that the public decides are important with respect to land development. And we believe that the changes that are incorporated in these revisions do indeed reflect what was needed, the modernization of the plan, and bringing it up to date, at least those sections which were looked at.
Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this public hearing?
Might need to, they may not know, I don't know. Are they
No,
here
no,
for that?
they're not here for that.
Okay.
Um,
Well, just like you said, we're going to
Adjourn
not close the public hearing tonight, but you're going to, I understand that the public hearing is going to be adjourned,
Right.
and we're going to review again these changes at the next town hall meeting, I believe?
No, not the next one. The next one is next week. It will be the September 1st Town Hall meeting. We will reconvene, after Madam Clerk adjourns it, we will reconvene the comprehensive plan, and we will have it we will have a special session that night to do the public hearings on the local laws, too. But we're not at that point yet. We're still getting back feedback from the EAC, the Planning Board, and we've gotten back our feedback from Westchester County.
I think it's going to be very helpful to do a combined review on that night of both the proposed local laws and...
Right, and that's why we wanted to do it
And-
at a town hall meeting, too. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So, Madam Clerk?
Might I then have a motion for an adjournment to September 1st, 2015 at a special session during your town hall meeting
In the Austin Library.
at the Ossining Public Library?
Right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, do we have any announcements?
We just have a few tonight. We are having a town hall meeting next Tuesday, July 21st, at the Ossining Public Library, and our topic of conversation that we'll start with that evening will be just an update, well, not just an update on our reassessment to see where we are, where we're going, and what our next steps are. And we will have, shake your head up and down, we will have people there that if you have not done your data mailer, did we check that out? Good. There we did, if you've not done your data mailer, there will be people there to help you if you don't have it, you never got it, you want to review it again. There'll be a group of people there to help you to make sure that the inventory of your what you have on your property, because it's not only the house, it's outbuildings and stuff like that. So is there. So thank you for arranging that, Mr. Gonzalez, who is our assessor, who is the man I told to shake his head up and down. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, if you have, let me repeat that since he wasn't on a mic. There's still time to have your inspection done. Saturdays and evening appointments are still available. If you want to call the 800 number off the webpage, that would really help a lot. Friday night concert series has started. We had a fabulous concert last Friday night. The weather was perfect. The music was great. Wobble Cafe was there serving. You can bring your picnic. They would prefer you buy your food, but it's all open. It was a great time. It was very crowded. We had some exchange students come in. We had 2 buses of exchange students there, so it was a nice, besides them, it was just a very nice crowd as it was. So come this weekend, and it's, what's Mark's last name? Mark Berger will be playing this weekend, and it's more of a country twist this weekend. So every week we'll tell you who's playing, but there's Latin music, country, regular, just pop music.
Rock.
Yeah,
Well,
and some blues. KJ will be playing later in this. KJ will be playing later in the year. We do want to emphasize that on August 7th will be the one Friday night in the summer that we do not have a concert. It is the Fireman's Parade. We encourage you to come out. It's actually a lot of fun to watch all the different companies go by, and they end up down at the waterfront, so we don't have a concert that night. Starting on the 21st of July will be the St. Augustine's Festival with fireworks on the 22nd. And as Council said, we had our public hearing tonight on the comprehensive plan, and we left it adjourned so that we can, looking for your input. If you can't come to the September 1st meeting and you want to learn more about it, please go on the webpage. You can always email us at sdonnelly@townofAustin.com or call us in the office if you want to discuss any parts of the comprehensive plan, changes of the vision portion of it. And
I want to piggyback on St. Augustine's Fair wristbands for the rides are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday is $20. This was people were asking all the time. And I think Wednesday is $25 and Friday is the most expensive at $30.
You would think it would be the fireworks night.
Maybe, but I don't know. On Wednesday, August 5th, Senator David Carlucci will be hosting what is known as Narcan training. It is also, that's the brand name it should go by, naloxone. That is going to be in the library from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. This is open to the public. Unfortunately, there are many communities who are dealing with opioid addiction problems. This is the antidote to that. It is administered nasally through the nose, and so anybody can be trained. So we have law enforcement or parents or people in the industry, however. So again, that's August 5th, which is a Wednesday, from 6 to 8 o'clock at the library.
Okay, great. There's a lot of other activities happening, but we'll tell you as they get closer to us. Madam Clerk.
Anyone
Anybody
else?
Madam
Okay,
Clerk.
We'll move on to public comments on any of the agenda items. Is there anyone to discuss those? Okay, not seeing anyone, we'll move into our agenda items. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossing hereby approves the June 23rd, 2015 minutes of the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossing hereby approves the July 7th, 2015 minutes of the special meeting as presented.
Right.
Do I have a motion?
Second?
As amended, right?
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossing hereby approves the voucher detail report dated July 14th, 2015, in the amount of $653,693.83. Do you have a motion?
Second?
I noticed that, so part of this was our police contract, correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
this is quite a long one. This is close to, well, we pay our police contract totally different now than we did with the county. It was it was the months of it. But one of the things that has happened is this is a whole month. We didn't have, because of our fifth Tuesday, we had a long time frame in between.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, this is the adoption of local law number 4, 2015, to establish a community choice aggregation energy program in the town of Ossing. I will not read it in its entirety. But
Okay.
It is on the website. It is available in my office. Being enacted by the town of Ossing of the county of Westchester as follows. Section 1, the code of the town of Ossing is hereby amended by adding a new chapter 179 entitled Community Choice Aggregation Energy Program to read as follows. Article 1 and 1, legislative findings, intent and purpose and authority. I'll do A. It is a policy of both the town of Ossing and the state of New York to reduce costs and provide cost certainty for the purpose of economic development, to promote deeper penetration of energy efficiency and renewable energy resources such as wind and solar, and wider deployment of distributed energy resources, as well as to examine the retail energy markets and increase participation of and benefits for residential and small commercial customers in those markets. Among the policies and models that may offer benefits in New York is community choice aggregation, which allows local governments to determine the default supplier of electricity and natural gas on behalf of its residential and small commercial customers. 2, the purpose of this CCA program is to allow participating local governments, including the town of Ossing, to procure energy supply services for their residential and small commercial customers, who will have the opportunity to opt out of the procurement while maintaining transmission and distribution services from the existing distribution utility. This chapter establishes a program that will allow the town of Ossing to put out for bid the total amount of natural gas and/or electricity being purchased by local residential and small commercial customers. Bundled customers will have the opportunity to have more control to lower their overall energy costs, to spur clean energy innovation and investment, to improve customer choice and value, and to protect the environment, thereby fulfilling the purpose of this chapter and fulfilling an important public purpose. And then we have D, this chapter will be known and may be cited as the Community Choice Aggregation Energy Program Law of the Town of Ossining. And then we have definitions for the purpose of this chapter, and unless otherwise expressly stated, or unless the context otherwise requires, the terms in this chapter shall have the meanings employed in the State of New York Public Service Commission's uniform business practices, or if not so defined there, as indicated below. And you've got bundled customers, small commercial, community choice, aggregation program, distribution utility, public service commission, suppliers, and and then you have the establishment of a community choice aggregation program. A community choice aggregation program is hereby established by the Town of Ossining, whereby the Town of Ossining shall work together with Sustainable Westchester to implement the CCA program to the full extent permitted by the order as set forth more fully herein. The Town of Ossining's role under the CCA program involves the aggregating of the electric and/or natural gas supply of its residents and the entering into a contract with one or more suppliers for supply and services. Under the CCA program, the operation and ownership of the utility services shall remain with the distribution utility. B, the Town of Ossining's purchase of energy supply through a CCA program constitutes neither the purchase of a public utility system nor the furnishing of utility service. The Town of Ossining will not take over any part of the electric or gas transmission or distribution system and will not furnish any type of utility service, but will instead negotiate with suppliers on behalf of participating residential and small commercial customers. C, in order to implement the CCA program, the town will adopt one or more resolutions that outline the process of and conditions for participating in the CCA program, including but not limited to signing a contract for a compliant bid with one or more suppliers. All is consistent with the local law and the order. Then we've got procedures for eligibility. A, as permitted by the order, the Town of Ossining may request from the distribution utilities aggregated customer information by fuel type and service classification on a rolling basis. And B, Sustainable Westchester, on behalf of the Town of Ossining, shall issue one or more requests for proposal to suppliers to provide energy to participants and may then award a contract in accordance with the CCA program. C, Sustainable Westchester or the Town of Ossining, if the Town of Ossining so chooses, will then request individual customer data from the distribution utility in accordance with the CCA program. And then we have verification and reporting. Sustainable Westchester shall be responsible for filing an annual report with the Public Service Commission, which identifies the number of customers enrolled in the CCA program by municipality and customer class, the number of customers who return to utility services or service with another supplier during the reporting period, and the average cost of commodity supply by month for the reporting period. Section 2, this local law shall take effect upon filing with the Secretary of State. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And this is a roll call vote. Councilperson Jeffrey?
Yes.
Councilperson Harder?
Aye.
Councilperson Wilshire?
Aye.
Councilperson Blaha?
Aye.
And Supervisor Donnelly?
Aye.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment about the next two resolutions. The Personnel Parks Department seasonal appointment, both of these young, I think they're both young men, happen to be, will be joining the third person, or have begun with the third person, so that we can keep the spray park. It's all about the spray park. It's all about the spray park, because the spray park's open from 12 to 6, 7 days a week. So we have a limited amount of hours each person can work. There'll only be one person at the spray park at a time. And it was very, very crowded on Saturday.
Resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby appoints Clyde Bacalon Ossining to the seasonal position of Recreation Attendant in the Town Parks Department effective June 29, 2015, at a rate of $8.75 per hour. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby appoints Marcus Gross, Ossining, to the seasonal position of Recreation Attendant in the Town Parks Department effective June 29th, 2015, at a rate of $8.75 an hour. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Correspondence to be received and filed. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby accepts the following: public hearing zoning board of appeals dated June 22nd, 2015, and the Town Planning Board meeting minutes dated May 6, 2015. Do you have a motion?
So
Yeah,
moved.
pushing the years.
Second.
Jumping a little ahead of yourself there, huh?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Monthly reports. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the month of June 2015. Town Clerk's Office, Town Supervisor's Office, Town Building Department, Town Tax Receiver's Office, and the Town Highway Department. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I didn't see one for the clerk's office. Did I miss that?
Is it in your invoice?
No, this
Oh, we
is
got
the
it for, we'll make sure you get one. We'll scan it in.
I'm sure it's riveting. I'm just saying,
It comes out like the next, we're already on the 14th day, so it comes out like the 2nd.
I was going to say the
You
first.
probably had it in something stuffed into,
something
yeah.
previous. Okay.
Like
Sorry,
it was probably in your mail last week at the work session.
All those
Right
in
away,
favor?
yeah.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, we'll get you another one.
We'll move on to visitor recognition. Is there anyone who's come to address the board?
Donna Sharrett, 84 Morningside Drive. I have 2 issues that I want to talk to you about. One, I sent an email about the wetland code amendment change. You guys get it?
You mean the law?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's about the amendment is keeping the half-acre size restriction
Okay.
for the wetland. Did you get the email?
We did, but
Oh,
it's, yeah, but
Okay, I
if you want to read it out loud into the record, that you're more
Well, I
than
just wanted
welcome to.
to- yeah, just to
Or
talk
just say it, whatever you want to do,
Yeah,
but
because
it's,
speaking about
what we're doing is collecting all the information. Yeah, yeah.
Right, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure,
Right.
because I didn't
Yeah.
get any response. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that it was understood. And
You want to recap
tagging
that?
on Wayne's comments about modernization and strengthening environmental protection, I mean, I think it follows suit. Okay, the town of Ossining now restricts in the current code protection of wetlands that are half an acre or larger in size. This is the highest by far in Westchester. The next one is a quarter acre in size, and that's Pound Ridge. All the rest are much less than that. For instance, Bedford, Cortland, Greenberg, Harrison, Lewisburg, Mount Pleasant, North Castle, North Salem, don't restrict at all, which means they protect all their wetlands. And I think this is the current thinking is that wetlands are important no matter what their size. Half an acre is really large, and the wetland now on the back of my property has been determined by a rough estimation at 7,500 square feet. So that is not protected by Ossining. 7,500 square feet is the same size as a 50 by 150 size property lot, and there's a lot of those in the town of Ossining. So if a lot of people have houses on properties that big that are the same size as the wetland in the back of my yard, and that is not protected in the town of Ossining. And there's a lot of animals, there's birds, it's a very active place, but it is not protected. And that is an issue. So I think this is the opportunity to, you have I'm not sure what changes you would do, because if you're still only protecting the same small amount of wetlands, I'm not even sure why you would go through the effort to make the changes unless you were going to make it really protective and environmentally responsible. So that's my comment on that. So I hope you would consider that. and this is as a resident, because I'm sure the EAC is going to put a comment forth also. The other thing I wanted to speak about is the wetland report that was submitted by Mr. Coleman in regard to the wetland on the back of my property. I can only say I'm so upset about this. I've been doing a lot of research for the past 2 years. It's ever since I found Mr. Sessions trespassing on my property to map the wetland. So obviously the applicant knew there was a wetland there. So I found at the building department there was a previous project presented to the building department maybe 10 years ago before I was there, or maybe 12 years ago before I was there, or, and that was for a car place, which we need another one of those, like a hole in the head on North State. That, interestingly enough, listed the stream and listed a 50-foot setback. Mr. Coleman's report says that because there's been so much damage to the wetland, when you look at if you look at the Westchester GIS maps, are you familiar with those? You can go back into 1946, you see aerial photography. On that property, you can see the stream that dissects that property. It is no longer there because it's been culverted. Also, if you look at topography maps, you will see it's obvious that that wetland was much larger at one time. It is no longer, because that property and the property next to it, which is the car place, have completely altered that landscape. They've made, now the wetland stops in almost a straight line, which is not how nature works. So it has been altered, and now the wetland's going to suffer because doesn't meet the size requirement of a half an acre. It might have met that requirement had no one disturbed it so dramatically. So the report states that the wetland is, not protected at all. He did acknowledge, finally, after 2 years of me trying to get someone to acknowledge that there is a stream there. The map that they present shows that the stream, if I'm reading it correctly, shows that the stream is starting at the northeast corner of just beyond my property. That's not true. That stream starts at the lands that we now call Highview Farms, and it comes down, it crosses Morningside, there's 2 ponds, it runs all the way along the back of my neighbor's property, and it takes a turn, and it comes and it runs onto my property. That's not indicated on these maps, and I'm very nervous about this, because then Mr. Coleman is stating that because of the damage to the properties they've done, that the stream doesn't need a buffer. But he's saying no buffers, none.
Okay.
I don't know who Mr. Coleman is.
Okay,
So that,
let me just, but this is before the planning board. This
I know,
report,
but I was at a planning board the last week, and I want everyone to know the facts. 'Cause
no,
I'm really
and
nervous
you're more
about
than
this.
welcome to state the facts here and everything, but you do understand that that project is before the planning board. And
Right.
as a matter of fact, I believe they meet tomorrow night.
Right, and I'll
Right.
be there.
Okay, so.
I'm not allowed
and
to
we-
speak there. And when I was there last week, or whenever it was, 2 weeks ago, there was things that I would have liked to said, but I couldn't
Okay,
say.
but
That's
there'll
why I
always
put
be
it
a
in
public hearing time. Every project has a public
writing.
hearing,
Right,
too.
but this thing's
Yeah.
whipping through, and it seems, so there's just a couple other things.
Okay,
I
no,
just
no,
want
you're more than
everybody to
welcome.
be
I just
aware.
want,
Okay.
and I know
No,
that
I
you
do
know that,
understand.
too, yeah.
I do understand.
Mr.
that.
Coleman is
Yeah.
the planning board's wetlands consultant, and Mr. Sessions is the applicant's
Applicants.
consultant.
and this is about just because anybody listening is not going to have any
It's
idea.
553 North State Road. It's a proposal of a
Memory care unit.
35,000 square foot memory care unit that'll be 35 feet high, and they're raising the elevation of the property. It is huge, and it is determined by this, it is advised from this report that they will only have to do the required 15-foot setback, which, speaking of the comprehensive plan, it's clearly in the comprehensive plan that they say that there should be better buffers between residential and commercial properties. None of that is happening with this project. And Mr. Coleman has stated that because so much damage has been done to the wetland, not on my property, Mine is vibrant, and my husband and I make sure to maintain it really well. That he feels that there's no reason to add buffers, and that there's not a lot of value to the applicant's property, which I would agree. What I disagree with is that they're doing a new usage and they should be putting a buffer in. Also, what's there now is a 2,100 square foot residential building, which is, it shuts down at night and it opens back up in the morning like the rest of our homes do. This is a 35,000 square foot structure that will be operating 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is very different. That impact, the house now is not even right on the wetland, it's sort of to the side. This will cover all the way, 15 feet from the entire length of this where that stream goes. Because now what the stream does is it goes into a culvert, and which I'd always been saying that too, and no one agreed. And now that's been established that there was a culvert put on that property, and then it goes through, crosses over to North State, and then becomes visible again just before Ryder.
And there's no ability to talk in the planning?
No, there's a public hearing session of the planning board.
Right. But I want
I do
everybody to
wanna-
know this before, because I'm getting the feeling when I saw this, I just feel like it's a done deal.
Okay, but I do want to stress that we are also filming the planning board meetings now,
Yes.
and they'll be on television. It will be on television. It will be filmed tomorrow night, and please understand that you are more than welcome to come here and speak.
Right.
But we do have to, we can't interfere with the planning board either. So,
No,
right?
But I want
So-
everyone to understand. Well, but there's a lot of discussion about this, so I
Right.
wanted my facts to be out there.
No, thank you for coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to wait just for because I just feel like other residents need to know about it also. I mean,
I just
Yeah.
want to know what stream is gone now, right?
no, the stream is there, and it comes along. It rushes in the spring, and then it comes and there's even a channel, and it spills out into this big wetland area. And for most of the season, it's called an intermittent because it does dry up. Now when maybe not after today.
I guess I just don't understand. I don't. What do you want? That's what I'm trying. I guess that's what I'm trying to
What
say.
I want proper buffers, and I want the area to be
That's what
restored, so that it is functional, and that would impose that the project would have to be smaller, and that's all I'm asking is that I think it's reasonable.
Okay. Yeah,
And I know you can't.
I really do appreciate you, but Donna even knows that, we have certain things that, but thank you for coming in and talking about it, really, seriously, thank you. And if you have any comments or anything, please bring them to the planning board, okay?
But the applicant does come and speak to you, right? It's like
No,
they
we have
don't-
never seen the applicant.
No,
Yeah.
that's why we didn't really
Yeah.
know what,
Yeah.
what was
No.
being discussed.
But I thought the applicant was telling you that it's going to be.
No, at the very, 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 very beginning,
beginning.
but we have never seen the applicant in months and months and months.
Oh, when they first came to ask for
The referral to the
mixed-
planning board,
Okay.
yeah.
a change,
there was
there was a change
of
in
zoning.
of zoning,
Right.
A
which
zoning
we had
text
to,
amendment.
Right.
which we had to
Right.
authorize.
Right.
Right.
That's what that was.
Yes, and that, if I may just say, that, because that is in front of you, that I am very upset about, because that they're asking for a change in usage based on the comprehensive plan, and the page before, it's like C2 or something, says that the comprehensive plan recommends better setbacks better buffers between residential and the commercial property. So this board is choosing to, that'll, the recommendation in the comprehensive plan that's going to benefit
Well,
this
I'm sorry, wasn't the zoning changed to allow for the type of business to be?
type of business,
Wayne?
but that was a comprehensive
Sorry?
plan.
It was on the
recommendation.
type of business, not the size
It
of,
was the type of
No,
business.
type
it was the
of
type of business.
Right.
It was
Right.
nothing
It is,
to do-
it is our business, it is our commercial,
That's all it was.
Right.
Use in the district,
yeah,
nothing to do
not
with
size or anything like that.
nothing.
No, it's the
Okay.
usage, but it is a recommendation based in the comprehensive plan. And the other one that I was asking for is
But a
not
different
being
element to the
considered.
plan.
Right.
Okay.
Saying, school versus this or this use or that use.
Right, it's
versus
senior
senior
residential.
residential versus
Right.
something, versus a nursing home.
Right.
Really a very, I'd say, semantic change in a sense.
Has the change gone through?
No, it's.
No, because it's in a secret
it's
process, right?
secret process, and we don't segment these things. Review is a comprehensive joint
Right.
board, is only reviewing the aspect that deals with.
The
Right,
type
no,
of
I
business.
know that, but I'm saying that was, when I heard that the applicant speak, they were presenting it as recommended in the comprehensive plan.
Right, but the point which I think was raised, and again, I don't think it's really, I mean,
Can you,
it's not totally appropriate to go over the details of the plan
Okay,
because it's
we
not
don't
before
have
this
to.
board, but the point being that there was no cause to create special setbacks or other spatial requirements for this particular use. There was no justification to do that.
That's not what I was asking. I was just saying generally, in that between the residential and the GB district, as recommended in the comprehensive plan, there should be better setbacks, because we've had a lot of developments that have
Well-
really negatively impacted residents. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about.
That's something that
affecting
would be under
hospitals.
review at a later point
Right.
as part of additional reviews of the comprehensive plan and the zoning code. But again, that does not impact this particular application at this time.
Right, but my comment is that their request was chosen, and mine was not. That's my comment. Because I had been presenting to the board, in many emails, I was requesting that was before they requested.
Well, they're not done yet either.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
not
wanted
done
that
yet.
to be clear.
Yeah, okay?
Better buffers would have made this situation a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Donna.
Would
Thank
you like to give me your written statement, please? Okay. Is there anyone else who's come to address the board?
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Sabrina Albrecht, and I live at 55.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think you can bend the whole arm down. Yeah, there you go.
My name is Sabrina Albrecht. I live at 552 North State Road in Briarcliff, and I actually am here tonight to follow up and just to bring everybody's attention to the same project. I have folders for you guys. Am I allowed to give it?
Give it to the clerk. You have, what project? The project that's under, in front of the planning board?
No, the project of wanting.
Yeah, totally different, because you said, I want to bring your attention to the same project, and I just
Oh,
want
sorry,
people
not-
not to
I'm
misunderstand.
sorry.
I know what you're
Not
talking
to
about. Yeah.
say her project,
Right.
my project,
Right,
as
yeah.
in my family and I would like to purchase our paper road, which we've been living at this property for over 20 years. And until recently, a lot of people didn't even know that it was a paper road. They thought it was our driveway. And that's what these folders are, just pictures for you guys to see that they are. In fact, it is our driveway because that's the only place we can get to our house. The rest of the road, it starts on North State, and it actually goes around our house and goes to the back on Gordon. And you don't see it because the rest of it is overgrown with woods, trees, everything. The paved part stops at pretty much our house. And we requested that we would like to purchase this. And I would just like to bring you guys, make you guys aware of the situation, because this is something that my family and we've been maintaining this property for 20-something years. We've planted on it. Yes, we do park there, but that's because that's the only way we can park to get to our house, to actually walk to the front door. We have no other place to park our vehicles. And besides planting, we had a basketball hoop and everything, and I just want to make sure that we go about this correctly on how we have to go about purchasing the road. There's also a piece of property, a lot right next to our house, that runs, I guess, perpendicular to the paper road. So we were inquiring about one or both, depending on, I guess, what the rules and regulations are, which also led me to, I was trying to do my own research as far as what are the rules and regulations for maintaining a paper road, and I can't find anything anywhere on it. We've been plowing for 20-something years. We've paved. When we had work done on our house to switch to sewer lines and natural gas lines, we paid for all of that to be ripped up from the paper road and repaved and everything else. And like I said, it wasn't until recently that it was brought to some people's attention that it was in fact a paper road. So now if it's a problem, we just want to make sure we go about purchasing it correctly. So
Okay.
these are for,
So if you give it to the clerk, or pass it down, thank you very much.
Well, Wayne, what do we, when we have paper roads, and so they're not town,
The
are they
office-
town-owned but not dedicated? I know that
Right.
there's distinction, but we
don't
I-
plow.
No, no, they're not necessarily town-owned.
they're not, well, I was going to
Okay.
say, I have a paper road too, and we do the same thing. We pave it, we think we
the
own
only
it.
reason
Town
I
doesn't,
even-
no, the town doesn't own paper roads necessarily, but when they appear on a filed map, they generally, what it constitutes is, in essence, a permanent offer of dedication. What the town will do in certain situations is will basically essentially sign or execute what's called a quitclaim deed, relinquishing any rights that the town may have to a paper road. So the town can't transfer ownership of something it doesn't have. All it could do is relinquish its rights to it. And typically in the past, what has happened in the past when there are paper roads, which the town does not have any long-term intent of developing into actual town roads, is the town may offer, the roads to both property owners that abut it. And
Or
sometimes
multiple. Or multiple, because there's, where the brush is.
Well, I'm just talking
as
about-
it goes out towards Gordon, it's
I'm
even
talking
more.
about let's say a section of the road
Right.
which abuts one property. Obviously, the other side of it's going to abut another property.
right.
And so but as you go down the line, there may be many properties that abut. I'm sure there will be. But let's say a certain section of it. And I don't know any of the history of this particular town paper road. It was probably put on a filed map many years ago when these properties were developed and so
our house is over
subdivided.
100 years old, so it's been quite a while.
Whatever the history is, it is it's a quote unquote paper road, which the town most likely does not have an interest in developing at any time soon. So, like I said, we should discuss this, or the board should discuss this in a work session.
What we'll do is we'll put it on a work session agenda. I'll just give you a little history. It came up because we had to trim back trees, and we didn't know those trees were ours until John Hamilton came, who happens to be our building inspector, came out. But, sir,
Wait, can
I
I-
want to thank you. Isn't that your dad back there?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to thank you. These pictures are beautiful. When she's done, but I just want you to know that this is beautiful.
Thank
you know. So,
I just
yeah.
I just want to say too, though, when the complaint had come from the restaurant Terra Rustica asking us to trim back our trees. So before Mr. Hamilton even brought it to your attention, the first thing my dad did was call Mr. O'Connor and say to him, "We know this is a paper road, and yes, we have maintained it. Are we responsible for cutting the trees, or what do
I'm
we
not-
have
I'm
to?"
not
No, I
putting
just
up
want to
a-
make sure that everything is dotted, all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted.
Just telling where it's going.
So Mr. O'Connor was the one that had said, no, they are town trees, so we will take care of it. Otherwise, we would have been more than happy to have continued to maintain this property.
Okay.
That's all we want.
Let's leave it at that, because, it looks beautiful now, right? So what we'll do is we'll put it on a work, and sir, if you'd like to come up, are you done? Because if you're not done, then we'll
Thank
keep
you
going.
guys very much.
The old Roseboro Estate, Yokes, on
Yep.
that, between Gordon and North State Road.
Right.
When I moved in, it was obscure because nobody had lived there for many years.
Right.
And it was the favorite dumping ground of every contractor and trash hauler in the area. Vera and I bought a 30-yard dumpster. We cleaned it up. While I'm doing it, in my driveway, or what was, I thought, my driveway, comes Gunnar Nielsen. I don't know if all of you know Mr. Gunnar Nielsen. Wow. It's something else. This is your driveway, but it's not your driveway. Don't be a jerk. Don't put a swimming pool on it like your next door neighbor did, and you and I will get along great. At this time, I had a tree trimming business, and he said, "Do me a favor. Don't touch the trees. Let us do this." When we had We've had problems with Terra Rustica. We have found recently, now we don't keep any foodstuffs around or anything to draw vermin, but we've got rats lately. I go next door to Terra Rustica, they got a big grease pit in the backyard, overflowing with fat and grease and stuff. And the garbage
Okay.
bin, filthy. The guy goes to me, yeah? I said, I just want to keep it between you and me. Can we do
Oh,
something
now
about
it's
the
all over the
rats?"
television.
And he says to me, okay, begrudgingly, but he just said, I'll take care of it. A week later, I get a call from the the Board of Health, and they said, we talked to the guy, we found a few issues, we'll put him straight. The next day, you guys, Mr. Hamilton gets a phone call, oh, your trees are unhealthy and unsafe because it's creating an unsafe situation over the parking lot.
But it
Well-
wasn't your trees.
Well, I didn't know this because
okay.
Donna Nielsen said, don't touch the trees. Mr. Hamilton comes in, doesn't even have the wherewithal or the courtesy to get out of his car to present himself to my daughter. He sits there and goes, yeah, you got problems here with your trees. You got to cut them. 3 years ago, I brought in sewers, I brought in natural gas, and the project engineer was John Hamilton, who knew it was a paper road.
Okay.
He made that he didn't understand anything about this, and all of a sudden then my daughter goes and at some point was scolded because of my having a van where I keep my stuff in.
I'm sorry,
And over the
sir. I'm
years-
sorry, sir. She was not scolded. We talked about the fact that the road was being used as a storage. And
Right,
as I said to you, these are beautiful pictures. If you just leave that alone, then we can move on. And we'll put it on a work session now, and we will talk about what to do with this paper road that is the only way that you have to get into your home.
Well, I just wanted to let everybody know it's not something that, I take lightly. I like being a neighbor here. I like taking care of things. I have. But my daughter was informed that my shed was here, my basketball court was here, and yes, she was told that we can't park our cars on the driveway.
On your driveway, you can park your cars. It was on the
That
road.
was my driveway, paper road. That's
Okay.
our only driveway.
Anyway, if
I'm
Laura,
trying
if
to
we
make a
will put
point
this-
because
Yeah.
none of these emails that were sent were answered until the board was notified.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else want to speak?
Not hearing any. Might I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for legal advice?
So moved. Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So anyway, we hope to see you Friday night at the concert series. So we do want you to know there is a planning board meeting tomorrow night. It's at the operations center, Donna. It's at the operations center tomorrow. Okay, we didn't move it or anything. Sometimes we move our planning board meetings. And I want to thank you all very much and have a wonderful week.